With the fifth pick in the 1998 NBA draft, the Golden State Warriors select Vince Carter from the University of North Carolina.
We are at the end of our Snub 25 list, plus 2 more. My co-host and I came a long way with planning this list and getting it all together to provide some great content to you guys. And we want to thank all who has stuck with us on this journey and enjoyed learning about the players who we decided have a strong case to be a top 75 all time. We enjoyed the work and the dedication in studying these players, and we hope we were able to entertain y'all. So without further ado, here is our final player for our list. On our channel, we have went into detail about how legendary the talent pool was in the 2000s, especially at the guard position. From Kobe to T-Mac to AI to Steve Nash to Ray Allen and D Wade, the talent and skill level was sky high, and those guys has left their imprint on the generation who was able to witness their gifts on a great stage. And this player that I'm going to be getting into fits the billing perfectly. You want to talk about being blessed by the gods in terms of natural talent and ability for an athlete? A man who could jump into the heavens and posterize legit anyone and everyone, as he most likely baptized some of the greatest shot blockers the game of basketball has ever witnessed when gracefully attacking the rim. And when he wasn't taking flight, he was gifting us with the opportunity to witness some of the most skillful packages that made him one of the most lethal scorers and great offensive stars of his generation, proven to be more than just a dunker. Duking it out with some of the best nightly. You want to talk about leaving a legendary imprint for people to look back and be in awe of? He has basically transcended the game as he defied gravity, defied father time, and more importantly, put an entire country, an entire nation that barely knew anything about the game of basketball on the map, helping globalize the game. It garnered him the legendary nicknames VC, Vinsanity, Yoda, Air Canada, and my favorite one, Half Man, Half Amazing. Meet Vincent Lamar Carter Jr., known to you guys as Vince Carter, the highly skilled, extremely talented, high-flying, gravity-defying offensive superstar of the 2000s, and he has a case to be on the NBA's top 75 list. He was one of the most electrifying players in basketball history, with his insane, freak-of-nature, once-in-a-generation type of athleticism and high-flying dunk package made him an instant highlight reel night in and night out. But he could do so much more with the basketball in his hands. He had a nice high arcing shooting stroke as he could shoot the 3-ball and get into the middle and operate. He was an elite ball handler, could operate in the post, create off the dribble for himself, finish around the rim in various creative ways, a good rebounder, and was an underrated elite passer. He was such a skilled talent, as along with many of his generation when it came to ISO ball, with his grace and smoothness, he was a nightmare as he was unpredictable to opponents. Drafted by the Golden State Warriors with the 5th pick in the 98 draft, his rights would be traded to the Toronto Raptors, where he would go on to do something that is so rare to do in sports, that only the elite class of greatness could sit back and admire. When VC arrived in Canada, there wasn't that much talk about basketball. Canada was, and still is, a hockey and soccer dominated type of country, and when it came to basketball, there was nothing much to focus on. The Raptors and the Vancouver Grizzlies franchises were relatively young teams, 3 years removed from expansion, and they were both struggling, making it difficult to gain revenue because there wasn't much fan attention to help them gain audiences. But for the Raptors, Vince was a blessing and a savior for the entire country, because as soon as he stepped foot onto the court, he immediately rejuvenated the entire franchise and established the game of basketball to Canadians all around with his electrifying talent and scoring prowess. Straight out the gate, averaging 18, 6, and 3, along with a steal and 1 to 2 blocks a game, earning him the 1999 Rookie of the Year, establishing himself as one of the great young talents in the game. In his second season, he would take his game to new levels, as in all 82 games, he would average 26, 6, and 4. This season will earn him his first of many All-Star appearances, and earn him All-NBA honors with 3rd team, becoming one of the top players in the world. And more importantly, he would lead the franchise to their first ever postseason appearance. Vince was one of the top popular players in the league, and it was only getting better for him. In his third season, he would continue to ascend as one of the league's top talents, having arguably the greatest individual season of his career, averaging 28, 5, and 4, making his second straight All-Star, gaining another All-NBA honor with second team, and leading his team to for the second time to the postseason, where they will make it past the first round after defeating the Knicks. In 6.5 seasons with the Raptors franchise, he would average 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. He was one of the best offensive stars in the league. He was at the top of the world with his peers in terms of popularity and made Canada a hot spot for basketball to gain popularity and attraction. But the franchise struggled as he had to carry the load along with suffering injuries. After years of suffering, he eventually demanded a trade, and in the middle of the 04-05 season, he would eventually be traded to the New Jersey Nets, where he would find new life and a great opportunity to win, forming a beautiful duo with one of the greatest PGs ever in the game in Jason Kidd. After being traded there, he would finish the 57 games with the team, averaging 28, 6, and 5, leading the team to the postseason, as despite being eliminated in the first round by the Heat, he put up 27 a game. In 4.5 seasons with the Nets, he would continue to show his scoring greatness and offensive repertoire, averaging 23, 6, and 5, making 3 more straight All-Star appearances, and helped lead the Nets franchise to 3 straight postseason appearances, averaging 26, 7, and 5 in postseason play. He would go on to play for multiple teams like the Magic, Suns, Mavs, Grizzlies, Kings, and Hawks, being a key contributor to every one, doing something legendary as he played for 22 seasons, the most in NBA history, being the first ever player to play in 4 different decades. So, I have displayed Vince Carter as one of the best, most talented and gifted offensive stars to ever grace the game. A scoring killer, a skilled machine who happened to defy gravity and transcended the game throughout an entire country. Someone who has carved out statuesque moments that when fans look back on could just be in disbelief of how beautiful greatness is when witnessing it. Yet, he's not a top 75 player. Why is that? I believe when it comes to Vince Carter, in his prime, despite being one of the best in the world, I feel he is overshadowed by the other talents of his generation and the success that they gained in their career. As great as he was, after his third season, VC never made another All-NBA, which goes to show how loaded the guard position was in the 2000s. And he never won a chip despite playing all of those seasons. And in his prime, only made the playoffs 5 times. Meanwhile, most of the names I've said earlier, like Kobe, AI, Nash, Kidd, Ray Allen, and D Wade, all went to have major transformative success on the game and are all on the top 75 list. But Carter should not be blamed for this. He legit single-handedly put the Raptors franchise on his back and pulled them out of mediocrity and purgatory and shined beautiful lights of glitz and glamour. As if it wasn't for his ability and talent, the Raptor franchise probably would not exist in the NBA today, meaning that Canada would not be a hotbed for hoops, as they probably would not celebrate the game as much as they do because of VC. He put Canadian hoops on a global stage to be recognized. And even though the Nets team of the 2000s are a great what-if team in terms of talent and no accolades to back it up, he did his part to help his team go deep. They just ran into better teams with great opportunity. More respect needs to be put onto his name, not in terms of legendary offensive talents, but athletes in general. His iconic moments are simply 3 things. Winning the NBA dunk contest back in 2000, where he gained instant popularity for himself and the entire nation of Canada. The 2000 Olympics, when he dunked over French big Frederick Weiss, and the legendary duel he had with AI in the 2001 Eastern Conference semis, as the two single-handedly battled it out against each other to help their teams reach the conference finals, putting their skill sets on display as it came down to the wire with a Game 7, as Carter averaged 30 a game. To conclude, Vince Carter is one of the best and most gifted offensive stars to ever grace the hardwood, who transcended the game with his freakish athleticism and graceful high-flying dunks. He's one of the greatest dunkers ever, top 5, who constantly embarrassed his opponents, putting them on a highlight every night to entertain fans. An 8-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA, he was a skilled scoring machine who battled it out with the most talented scorers in NBA history on a nightly basis. He defied father time with 22 years of entertaining fans and did something that is rare to do in a sport, which is put a whole entire country that is not known for a specific sport and basically show them how much fun the game could be if they tried it, as he's one of the main legit reasons why majority of Canadians know and wanted to play the game of basketball, and legit literally saved the Raptors franchise from literally going into extinction. But now it's up to you. Does he have a case to be a top 75 player of all time?